Hello, Swiss Army knife collectors. This is Will here with another full refurb that I'm going to show you. It's been a few months since I've done one, and I have a new one that I've spent quite a bit of time on and figured I would show you guys. This particular knife is a First Shield aluminum Wenger Delmont knife, officer's knife. It belongs to Dave Arnold, who lives in Canada. He's a well-known collector and a good friend of mine. This particular knife he bought, it wasn't in the best shape. It was kind of cobbled together with several different donor knives, different tools, different back springs. You can look here in this picture and you can tell that some of these back springs are carbon, some are polished. So it was has a couple what look like nail heads used for rivets. So someone had tried to make it into something, but it didn't really come out. um, but Dave, having the keen eye and knowing the skills that I can apply to it, he went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. And whenever I was able to do a refurb for him, he gave it to me to build him a knife out of. This particular knife has quite a bit of inscriptions that were put on it. We did talk about trying to save the engraving due to, a cool factor and historical value, but due to how corroded and the surface finish on these scales were, the only way we were able to do a full refurb was to blank them out and get down below that surface. As you can see there, it looks like Valencia, where the guy lived, and has his first initial and his last name. It's kind of hard to read. But there was some other inscriptions on the front. Let me pan over here. This is what the tools looked like when he got the knife. It has a date there, 1938, and it looks like another two-digit date. I think it's 23. You could see how the pins were all mismatched. Kind of, let's see here. The scales, once we got them off, you could see some of the damage where when they tried to peen one of them, it rolled outward and displaced this aluminum around this hole here. So when I refurbed these scales, I made sure not to remove that with a file or anything, or else it would have opened up this entire side over here. So what I had to do was take a ball peen hammer and peen back that aluminum into the hole and reestablish the surface over here. With these holes being tapered, once I got down below the rough finish, a lot of this tapering at the top of the holes got rid of, disappeared. But it looked pretty rough shape. Let's see here. This particular knife has a First Shield civilian model for officers. Ran between 1907 and 1920. The tank stamp on this knife is a Wenger Delmont, running between 1907 and 1939. So you can see where the tang stamp, and with the shield you can guesstimate that it wouldn't have went any further than 1920s, and so between those dates, that's how you can verify which age this knife is. Let me get to the knife. Here is what it looks like now. Get in there real good. There we go. Took a lot of sanding to get all those pits out. I was able to peen some of these heads to where they covered a lot of the holes that were oblong. That's why some of the pinheads are a little bigger than the others. But it's a lot better than looking at a big crack right next to it. But yeah, they came out really good finish. He gave me a donor knife of the same period that was a fiber scaled knife. Didn't have a shield. We used all the tools from that knife to build this knife here, and they are all carbon. There's a good shot of the tang stamp. They all have really good snap to them. Here's the pin blade. I decided not to polish these tools because they were in really good shape, and to make it authentic looking, as close as to possible, I decided not to do any polishing on it. Most of these aluminum first shield knives that have been refurbed have only had the scales and liners refurbed on them. Here's the can opener. Here's the early screwdriver without cap lifter. And the other original knife had a saw. We decided to go with a pair of scissors on a 3-layer. Dave didn't have any 3-layer with scissors on the aluminum first shield, so that was another model he could add to his collection. So we sourced a pair of carbon scissors. They were hard to find. You could tell up here the nail nick is broke out. They had been shortened a little bit, probably due to the ends being broke and someone reprofiling it. But luckily, there's a second nail nick here. We're able to open the scissors out of the knife. This particular knife took probably, I'm thinking, 40 hours of labor on and off. Here's the corkscrew. It's got the old style with the groove. Really nice piece. All the tools snap like they should. This particular blade on the older models, they did quite a bit more swaging down the back of the blade, which is a really neat looking feature. Well, I appreciate you watching. Please leave any questions or comments in the comments section, and I will get back with you. Thanks a lot.